Alrighty, today I'm going to show you how to fix a broken central pivot pin on a garden cart. If I can get this thing to actually work. So, this is a groundwork cart that I found at the dump because everything I own came from the dump. And the reason why somebody threw it out is because this central pin here is just sort of doing whatever it wants. It was originally welded right here. I can show you. I don't think I'm going to be able to show you, but unless I rip this whole thing up, I don't want to drop it on my foot. This central pin right here, the bottom is supposed to be through this hole, and the top was tack welded right here in the center. And those tack welds broke because this is from the beach. And so it is rusty as all sin. This is a fairly old cart. This is the Groundwork brand from Tractor Supply. It's like a $150 cart, and it's missing a wheel. But thankfully, my garden cart actually just broke the other day. Well, the handle broke. I'm still going to fix it. But I have all the old wheels from it from when we replaced the wheels. So I'm going to throw that on there, and it's actually the exact same size. So hopefully it'll fit on that shaft. And if it won't, we're going to make it. So anyway, I'm going to be showing you how to rig up a fix for this broken central pin there. I'm hoping I can drill a hole right through the center of this and run a carriage bolt all the way through, but I think this may be a solid steel rod. I don't know. I have to disassemble this to figure it out, but I'm going to show you how to fix that, just in case you run into this problem too. Alright, so after doing a little bit more investigation, all this is free. This has a 5/16 rod in the center of it and a bushing up here with a cotter pin, so I should just be able to drop that free. Then my thought is to just replace that entire 5/16 rod with a 9-inch piece of rod. If I could find a 9-inch 5/16 carriage bolt, which I don't think I'm going to be able to find, I would just run that through there. Another option is to grab a 5/16 piece of all thread, put a nut on the top, super glue it in place, and then take an angle grinder or belt sander to it and take the top half of the nut off, and then that'll make you a carriage bolt, sorta. Or get a really thin nut, that's probably easier, and then super glue it. Not going to be able to double nut the top. So anyway, we'll make that permanent. If you can weld, just weld it, but I don't have a welder. I ain't going to hook up 4 car batteries and try that. And yeah, also this wheel, it's about an inch too short, maybe 3/4 of an inch too short between the bearings for me to be able to put the nut on it. But thankfully, it looks like these bearings down in here are just press fit in, so I should be able to grab a big socket and just beat on this with a 3-pound hammer until this goes in another inch. And hopefully that should be good enough. And yeah, that didn't really cost me anything. I mean, you'd have to buy a tire if yours is missing a tire, but I luckily had a free one. And it holds air somehow. Don't know how. Well, she's taking some persuasion, but we'll get her apart. Also just noticed that these are tubed, and valve stem has gone somewhere, so a lot more work ahead of me than I thought I had. Alright, so here's what I've done. I just went and grabbed a piece of random steel that was in my scrap metal bin, and we've drilled out, there was a pre-existing hole here. I drilled another one out 4.5 inches away because that happens to be the spacing on the bottom of the frame, and then I drilled this one in the center out to 9/16-ish. Inhaled a bunch of carcinogenic fumes, etc., so that will fit this guy, and we're going to put this underneath the bolts on the bottom of the frame to hold that in the center and put everything back together. Alright, so here's what I'm talking about with this. We got those 2 bolts right there in the center. This is supposed to be in the middle of them. Drilled out those 2 holes, drilled one between them, and just fit her on the bolts like that. We'll back those nuts off and then torque all this down. It'll self-clearance, and that should hold that right in the center. Doesn't need to be, crazy tight. There'll be some slop in it, but, who am I kidding? This thing is full of slop. I had a bearing over here exploded, so that's fun. Got to find that valve stem, and yeah, but I think it should go back together, and I think this cart will see some more life, whether it wants it or not. Alright, there she is, all back together. I don't like that they used cotter pins as a load bearing, literal bearing on here, so I just stuck a nail through there and bent it around, did the same on the bottom down here. And yeah, fixed all of my tires. Well, mostly. This one ain't gonna seal. Inner tube was totally shot, so I pumped about 30 pounds of slime in it and put a valve stem in. And yeah, whole tire is just not happy. But the other three hold air somehow. And I fixed my bearing issue. I just beat on it with a 24 millimeter till it fit. This one over here only has one bearing, so we just jammed all of the extra bushings in there. Spins freely, just doesn't have all the bearings it needs. We're gonna pull this sucker over, see if she works or not. Look at that. Well, that's a bit bent, but what do you expect for a free dump cart? That's pretty good. She still tilt. Oh, hold up. Get this out of the way. Oh yeah. Fancy. Nice. Well, anyway, that was much easier than doing the all thread. All thread would have been, actually it probably would have been easier, but still, that worked out pretty good. That was just a little, like, thick 1.5 inch piece of flat stock that I just drilled 3 holes in and cinched it back down under the frame, and yeah, works for me. So hope this helped. If you like this kind of trash, go down there, like the video, comment, tell me how I could have done it better. I'm not going to do it better, but you know, let me know what your brainstorming was. And if you want to see more of this garbage, you gotta subscribe, so go down there, smash that subscribe button. Until next time, I'm out.